All right, guys, welcome back to the daily vlog. This is my third time filming this vlog today. First time I had audio difficulties. Second time, technical issues with the video playback on the screen recording. I've spent 2 hours here just trying to do a video on EQ, which is what we're gonna get into actually. But dude, the life of a vlogger is crazy. Technical issues, I mean, dude, like I told myself I wouldn't miss a day, and that's going to be actually kind of difficult. I don't know what we're going to do about that, but here we go. Round 3. I hope this works. If it doesn't, I'm just going to film a rant. Today, I want to cover EQ. I feel like the way EQ is taught, not only online, but in main circles like audio engineers. Like if you're taking a mixing class at SAE or something, it's probably like this, where they're using language that is just not suitable for the average independent artist. They use this language like boxiness. Like, what does boxiness mean in a vocal? What is boxiness? What is air? In a master track, like what makes a song blue? Like, I don't have synesthesia. What makes a song green, orange? So I think we need to step away from this style of referring to music in this visual kind of like optical sense, tactile sense, because I feel like it just takes away from what people are actually trying to learn. I want to break EQ down to you guys in a way where you can digest it and be like, okay, here are like 3 simple things that once I put in the reps on my own vocal, mixing my own vocals, especially for the self-produced self-mixers, like now I can finally understand how to go about it without guesswork. First of all, universal rules of EQ. Put it after your tuning. We're going to do subtractive EQ first. And I've turned off, this is a master track. This track's already done. It's coming out in late November, late this month. So I already have it EQ'd, but I've turned this first EQ off. It goes tuning. Melodyne and Auto-Tune are tuning plugins. Tune your track, tune your vocal first. We're going to go in with subtractive EQ, and I'll show you what that is. First of all, another universal rule, take out the low mud. And I think this is a universal rule because there's really no reason to have it. And I really don't understand why a mixing engineer would ever leave mud in the track like that, because it's unnecessary rumble. It's unnecessary kind of like information that you don't need. So let's just listen to this dry vocal.
I can't lie, I can't do this by myself. Options, how I wanna play the cards I'm dealt.
I'll even
I'm
isolate
falling down, but you would never know I fell, and I'd prosper if I
all of this down here.
Afraid I'm quite in common with the well-known.
Don't need it.
I'm trying to get what's my.
So here's what we're gonna do. Take a high pass. This one's a high pass filter. We'll go over these real quick. Bell, low shelf, high pass, high shelf, low pass. And with the pass, you're just that tells you which end of the signal you're letting through. With a high pass, you're letting the high end through. It starts from the low. And with a low pass, you're cutting off the high end information. You're letting the low through. So if you need to start from the high end, fine.
I can't lie, I can't do this by myself.
And just go until you have just enough lows.
I'm falling down, but you would never know I fell, and I'd prosper if I could just focus on myself. Afraid I'm quite in common with the way.
You'll notice that the slope of the EQ kind of plays with the increase in signal.
I can't lie, I can't do this by myself.
Finally stops being
how
so
I wanna play
prevalent.
the cards I'm dealt. I'm falling down, but you would never.
Okay, so that's the first step in universally for all your vocals. You can do that. You can feel out how much low rumble you need to take out. Very simple.
Can't lie, can't.
Now, this is subtractive EQ, so we're going to work our way up. Our Q value here is how wide or narrow your change in EQ is. So if this is a bell, and we have a standard Q value of 5 right now. And if I increase that, that is narrowing the range of change you are making in your EQ. And if you're decreasing, it's widening the change. And for subtractive EQ, I find that you want a pretty tight bell, but nothing too crazy, but you're going to use your ear.
I can't lie, I can't do this by myself. Options, how I wanna play the cards I'm dealt. I'm falling down, but
my vocal specifically is very boxy. It's very boxy. No, it just has a lot of information in the low end, in the low mid that I like to take out because my voice is deep and boomy. Over a standard track, and actually we're going to add our beat back in here so we're not mixing blindly, it usually interferes with the lows and the low mids.
Can't lie, I can't do this by myself. Options, I wanna play the cards I'm dealt. I'm falling down, but you would never know I fell.
And if you do this enough, you will realize that you can be very precise. Your Q value will start to matter a lot. See, I just increased the Q value ever so slightly, and then it was too much, and I had to dial it back because I was shaving off too much signal around this frequency point here of 261.6. And so you can listen for it. You can literally listen for it. Like,
can't lie, I can't do this by myself. Options, how I wanna play the cards I'm dealt.
you can literally just...
Can't lie, I can't do this by myself. Options, how I wanna play the cards.
There's a point where you slide over the right point where you should have it, and it just kind of locks into the song. That part of the spectrum where your vocal sits, you will seat it in the beat correctly.
Can't lie, I can't do this by myself. Options,
there should be, you should get to a point where it's like, ah, there it is. Okay, let's add another bell. Okay, let's increase the Q value. Okay, what are we looking for next?
can't lie.
Okay, see these humps here? These humps here, they are not to be completely dampened and decreased, because these humps are the fundamentals at each point. They're the harmonics of my vocal, and if you are reducing a hump too much, you're just taking character and meaning out of the vocal. And so you're not looking at the humps, the specific harmonic humps themselves. You're working through them and around them. And so here up at like 300 to 500 hertz, there is more boxiness in my vocal that I want to take out.
Can't lie, I can't do this by myself. Options, how I wanna play the cards I'm dealt. I'm falling down, but you would never know.
Now, does that low end sound like it's seated in the beat? I would say yes.
Can't lie, I can't do this by myself. Options, how I wanna play the cards I'm dealt. I'm falling down, but you would never know I fell, and I prosper.
It's very precise. You want to give the vocal a haircut with subtractive EQ. It's low to mid, okay? We're going to take another bell.
Can't lie.
As you go up, usually you have to increase the Q value more.
Can't lie, I can't do this by myself.
Where does it interfere? This hump here.
Can't lie, I can't do this by myself. Can't lie.
So you can see here, these harmonics here, these harmonics, they are quite large. So we will be taking out information here, but it doesn't need to coincide exactly with these. You're working through them.
Can't lie, I can't do this by myself. Options, how I wanna play the cards I'm dealt.
Let's take another one.
Can't lie, I can't lie, I can't do this.
See that specific at 834.
Can't lie, I can't do this by myself. Options, how I wanna play the cards I'm dealt.
But you also have humps around it, right around it, and you don't want to minimize those by going directly on them, and you don't want to ignore them by going directly over the hump all the time. So the easiest way to do this is by feel.
Can't lie, I can't do this by myself. Options, how I wanna play the cards I'm dealt. I'm falling down, but you would never know I fell, and I'd prosper if I could just focus on myself. Afraid I'm quite in common with the. Can't lie, I can't do this by myself. Options, how I wanna play the cards I'm dealt. I'm falling down, but you would never know I fell, and I'd prosper if I could just focus on myself. Afraid I'm quite in common with the well-known, and I'm trying to get what's mine without the elbows. Can't lie, I can't do this by myself. Options, how I wanna play the cards I'm dealt. I'm falling down, but you would never know.
Between these points is information that we want to keep in. So we're increasing the Q value, so we're not making it so flat. We're not giving the guy a flat top haircut. We're giving him more of a rounded fade. We're fading the vocal in, to use these dumb metaphors that I can't stand. And so look at this. Look at how uniform and shapely this is. It might be a little much, you know? It might be a little much, but we want to be precise. We want to make the vocal fit in. Okay, that's good for subtractive EQ. And that wasn't like a fine-tuned job. Tuning, subtractive EQ, then your compression. And we're going to do a whole video series on compression. But the reason that you do subtractive EQ first is you want to shave off the harsh frequencies in the lows and low mids before you compress, because what compression is going to do is it's going to take the lower volumes of your recording and it's going to bring them up. Why would you want to add a compressor before you're EQing, you're taking stuff off of your EQ curve? Once you're done with your subtractive EQ, you can do your compression. Again, we're going to touch on that later. Maybe after multiple compressors, de-esser is a type of compression, you're going to do your additive EQ. Because as your harmonics get higher and higher on the frequency spectrum, you are losing information because that's just not as prevalent. In my voice, I have a lot of prevalence in the low and low mid, in the mids. But I'm not Ariana Grande, so and I'm not a hi-hat, so I don't have as much presence in the high end. Therefore, I want to add signal here, and we refer to this as air up here in the 10 to 15K range. We're adding air.